What's up guys, Weekend Version here with another Dawncaster video. This is a bit of a special bonus video. So the devs announced that there will be a new expansion called ECLYPSE with over 160 new cards. And the best thing is that this expansion is completely free. So it's a free DLC. And it introduces 8 new basic weapons. So a lot of stuff to be playing around with. So that should be good fun. And the expansion is set to release in the second week of August, so that should be at some point this week. So yeah, let's go over some of the cards that were revealed. So we got, in the first wave of reveals, we got Vexing Echo. So this is a mage corruption card, which gives your cursed cards Echo. So cursed is normally an affix that you can attach to cards that makes it so that you can't really remove them from your deck. So this should be a way of introducing echo to specific cards. So I can see this working with some cheap high impact spells where you apply cursed on them. Or actually if you activate the cursed malignancy. So there are ways where you can increase the difficulty of the game by introducing malignancies. I think one of them makes it so that your cards are cursed. So this card in that deck would actually be really strong. The next card is a rogue class card, the Televan Compass. So it's an equipment. Activate it to foretell 3. And foretell normally is a mechanic or a stat that's for Arcanist and the Seeker. So it's pretty interesting to see it in Rogue for the first time. And deplete, add a random treasure map to your deck. So we haven't seen what treasure maps look like. But I can assume that they could be fairly strong cards. Perhaps something to do with coin synergy, perhaps. That would be interesting to see. And for the Seeker, we got Alter Memory. So choose a card in your deck. If it has Memorized, destroy it. If it does not, add Memorized. Charges 1 of 1. Okay, that's a pretty interesting card, because why would you ever want to destroy a card with Memorized? And if it has Memorized, generally you'd be playing it turn 1. So this is a very interesting card, because I guess there's some kind of mechanic or gameplay that they've designed this card around, which we don't know yet. But the second half of the card is actually really interesting. If it does not have Memorized, then give it Memorized. And I wonder if that's permanent, as in for the rest of the run or just for the round. And if it's just for the round, then Memorized does not really matter. So it's an interesting card. We'll see if the supporting cards really make it into an interesting deck. But for now, I don't see much potential with the current card pool that we have. And then for the warrior, we get Master Chef. So add 10 random ingredients to your deck, draw a card, and it's memorized. So this is a completely new archetype for warrior. I'm actually pretty excited to see how it plays out. The theme is definitely fun, and I wonder if you get to cook dishes. So yeah, I have no idea what this archetype would look like, but I'm very interested to see how it plays out. And for the next set of card reveals, we got the Hunter card, a legendary card called Voodoo. Create an effigy, and then the Ancestral, which triggers if you have, I think, 3 or more cards in the graveyard, essentially. Reduce the health of your effigy by 20%, and it's heavy and grounded. Okay, so grounded means you can't alter it, so you can't really attach keywords, you can't make it cheaper. And then heavy means that once it's in your discard, it will not be shuffled back into your deck, unless there are cards that specifically say shuffle a card from your discard into your deck. And the devs confirmed that the effigy is basically a copy of the enemy you're fighting with the same HP. And apparently there will be mechanics where if the HP reaches 0, then you basically just fight the effigy. So you can kill the enemy without actually fighting it directly. So it's a very interesting thematic for Hunter. I really enjoyed Totem Hunter, so this is definitely right up my alley. And I'm interested to see what the rest of the card pool looks like for Hunter, this expansion. And then for the knight we get Vile Sacrifice. So it's a corrupted action. Destroy a card in your deck, then ascend unique. Unique means you can only play it once in the match. And ascend has 4 different levels. And normally to ascend you need divine energy, which is yellow. But this is a very interesting thematic. So you destroy cards to ascend. And you can only play this once. So we get, I guess, self-sacrifice knight. It's definitely an engaging gameplay. I really like Hex Knight, so I will definitely try this out. And then the next card we get for the Seeker is Sand Soldiers, giving me Azir vibes. So create a clone, and Scholar triggers when you have 20 or more cards in your deck. Repeat for each memorized card you played in this combat. Okay, so we get the card that supports the memorized archetype. So you're incentivized to play as many memorized cards as you can. So yeah, definitely. I haven't really played much of Clone Seeker, but I can see this could work. But it depends on how many memorized cards you can actually get in the deck. I say it's an interesting take. So we're going from water clones into sand clones. So I guess at some point we'll go through like different elemental clones like fire or I guess smoke. So the devs really are creative when it comes to thematics. And then for the Arcanist, we get into the pot. So it's an action. If the foe's HP is 10% or less, slay it, and then start the next combat with a random potion. It has a So this card has a lot of flavor. It's also upgradable, and I guess the upgradable part is the threshold will go up, and it's a unique. So we have a card like this for Warrior, but it's much more expensive, and yeah, I think the threshold is 25% for Warrior. So which Arcanist is something I didn't think I'd see, but I definitely welcome it. And for the next round of cards, we get Pirate Rogue. So Gold Rush. This combat, whenever you gain gold, gain an equal amount of Ferocious, and it's an enchantment. And Ferocious is a stat where if you were to crit, then you heal that amount of damage. So it's a card that works with coins, I presume, yeah. A really good thematic for Rogue. We haven't seen much pirate action in Dawncaster, but it's definitely an interesting take on Rogue. And then for the Divine card, we get Holy Nova. It's a Divine action. Gain 1 health, repeat for each other Nova card you played this combat, and it's Firecast. I don't think we have seen any other Nova, so it specifically mentioned Nova cards, not Holy Nova itself. So I'm thinking that we'll get other types of Novas. But I don't think there's any Nova cards in the current game, but I could be wrong. But yeah, it supports multicast, and I guess if you trigger the Firecast, that would be really fun to see. I can imagine you just trigger Firecast after this Firecast, and you get like 5 triggers of Holy Nova. And then the next card is another food warrior. So it's culinary cutlery. It's an action. Conjure 3 basic attacks. If you are cooking, reduce their cost by 1 energy. So it specifies a colorless energy. And I wonder what counts as cooking. So I guess there will be... I wonder if it will be like a quest type system where you're cooking whilst preparing a dish. So that's the cooking state. but we haven't been given much details, but it's definitely something I'm really interested with. So Food Warrior. And then the next card is another Knight card. It's an action, Expel Corruption. It's interesting that it's not actually a corrupted action, it's just an action. Cleanse an Affliction. Remove 4 negative energies and then gain red energy for every 2 negative energies removed this way. So the devs confirm that these negative energies essentially eat up your actual energy. So if you have enough negative energies, then you don't actually generate mana. I think that's how it works, but we need like additional clarification. But yeah, it's an interesting take. Self-sacrifice Knight. I'll give it a go. Yeah, because I really enjoy playing Hex Knight. So let's see what the next set of cards are. So the next card is another Hunter card, Voodoo Mask. It's an equipment. Activate to have your next performance start a ritual, then perform 1. 5 durability memorized. Okay. So does it confirm? So I think this converts your performances into a ritual. So we already have a weapon which converts performances into stronger performances. So I guess this card would convert a performance into a ritual. So there will be different types of rewards. And it's perform 1. So we haven't seen perform outside of Rogue. And I don't know, actually we've seen it. We've seen it in Multicolored Knight. Yeah. So we'll see it in Hunter in this expansion. And the next card is Witching Hour. So it's an Arcanist card. Gains 0 potency. Increased by 1 whenever you play a cursed card. And it's cursed. Okay. So I wonder what potency is. It's a new stat. Perhaps it will be like damage amplification for spells, maybe? Already have anger, so I wonder what potency is. I guess like once we understand how potency works, then this could be an interesting, and this could be a strong card. And the next card we get for the Seeker is the Taurus's Rage. After you make 3 or more basic attacks in a turn, gain green and red. After you make 3 or more basic attacks in a turn, gain blue and green and advance. And the dev said that advance basically takes you to the next stage of the card. So it's almost like a quest from Hearthstone. I really like the mechanic here. I wonder what the payoff is after the 3rd stage. But I guess we'll see when the card gets released. And then the last card is a legendary. The last card is a rogue legendary, Pirate's Parlay. It's an action card, deal 5 damage, and inflict charmed equal to the damage you dealt this turn. Execute, gain a booty. So we don't know what the rewards look like. Same with the treasure maps. And this almost gives me the feel of that there's a card in Rogue where you remove the charm stacks, and then next turn they gain those charm stacks back +5. So definitely interesting card, because on one hand you want to play this while they don't have any charm stacks, do as much damage to stack charm, but at the same time you want to trigger the execute. So basically the charm text does not matter if the reward is strong enough. So it's an interesting card. I wonder how it's almost like anti-synergistic with itself, but I wonder how it'll play out. I want to see what the reward list looks like for this card before we can accurately determine the power level. And for the final set of cards, we get another rogue card, Sea Legs. This combat, whenever you change the tide, your next action inflicts a critical hit. Okay, so this is for Clone Seeker, I guess. Crits are nice, so it feels like an okay card. And you also change the tide at the end of the turn, so you get basically a crit every turn. So yeah, interesting card, but as I said, I haven't really played Clone Seeker that much, so I can't really assess this power level. The next card is an Arcanist equipment, Ouroboros, Ouroboros, Ouroboros. Activate to foretell equal to its remaining durability. Deplete, take an extra turn. So the power level of this card is definitely in its deplete text. Take an extra turn as an Arcanist is really strong. So yeah, definitely a strong card. And the next card is Inner Demon, a Knight card. It's a corrupted action. Gain 5 anger, corrupt 3 energy, permanently reduce both effects by 1. Okay, that's really interesting. So on one hand, if you play it 3 times, on the 4th time you won't corrupt any energy, but you only gain 2 anger. So it just gets worse and worse. Okay, so now I kind of understand. So after 5 uses, basically this card is useless. It's 1 mana, 1 health, do nothing. And once you get to that point, you can use the card from the first reveal to destroy it. And then you can use Vile Sacrifice to destroy it. So destroy a card in your deck, then ascend. So I can definitely see the synergy there. So yeah, definitely interesting archetype for Knight. And then the last card we get is the Seeker Occultism. It's an enchantment. This combat gain momentum for each life energy you spend, and it's memorized. So it's another memorized card. Momentum is a fairly strong keyword. It's almost like quasi-draw. It's only draw if you play a lot of cards. But yeah, it feels like an okay card. And I wonder if you want to destroy it. That's what I'm thinking. And also with Inner Demon, if you tag it with Memorize, you can also destroy it with the Seeker card we got. So yeah, that was my initial impressions of the card reveals we got. It's definitely looking like an interesting set. Plus it's free. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching the video. Let me know what cards you're interested in playing, what archetypes you're most interested by. I personally am looking really forward to Food Warrior and the Corrupted Knight. And yeah, hopefully it comes out this week, so see you in the next one. Bye bye.